What would your 10-year-old self say to you today? Seriously, take a second. Picture that kid, the one with the scuffed knees, the wild imagination, and a million questions about, well, everything. If that kid looked at your life right now, your calendar, your bank account, your stress levels, would they even recognize you? Or would they look at you with a kind of sad confusion and ask,
"What happened? Where did all the fun go?"
That question probably stings a little. And it stings because you've been sold a lie. A massive society-wide lie that slowly and silently robbed you of the connection to that joyful, curious kid you used to be. The lie is that wealth is something you build in a bank account, not something you cultivate inside of yourself. We've been taught that success is a number, a title, a pile of external achievements. And in chasing that, we've starved the very part of us that knows how to feel alive. That kid didn't care about your bank account because they were already mentally wealthy. Today, I'm going to show you why that inner portfolio is the only one that actually matters and how to get it back. For our entire adult lives, we've been conditioned to see success through one primary lens: money. It's a story we all buy into because it sounds so easy. Work hard, make money, buy things, and then you'll be happy. We're told to build a financial portfolio of stocks, real estate, savings as the ultimate measure of a life well lived. But what nobody tells you is that you also have a mental portfolio. And for most of us, it's been horribly mismanaged. This is the core of an idea championed by writer Sahil Bloom, who argues that real prosperity isn't just about money. And the one asset that gets dangerously overlooked is what we're calling mental wealth. This isn't just about being smart or having a high IQ. It's the foundation of your inner world. It's your sense of purpose, your curiosity, and the simple, quiet space you have to think clearly. The grand deception is that we treat this inner world as a luxury item. It's the thing we'll get to later, once the mortgage is paid, the promotion is secured, and the retirement account is full. We tell ourselves,
"I'll find my passion when I have financial freedom."
or
"I'll have time for hobbies when I retire."
we operate under the wild assumption that we can neglect our inner selves for decades and then one day just flip a switch and feel fulfilled. It just doesn't work that way. A study in the journal Scientific Reports looked at this from a fascinating angle. It found that in countries where there's intense societal pressure to be happy, people's well-being can actually be worse. The constant external expectation to feel good creates an impossible standard which can ironically contribute to more stress and depressive symptoms. We end up chasing an image of happiness, and in doing so, we sacrifice the real thing. Your 10-year-old self wasn't trying to be happy, they just were because their wealth wasn't tied to some future outcome. It was found right there in the moment in the simple joy of discovery. Later on, I'm going to share the one question that can instantly tell you which part of your inner portfolio is currently in the red. This brings us to the most destructive lie about building a fulfilling life. The idea that you can't build mental wealth until you have financial freedom. This is the lie of deferred living. It's that little voice that whispered,
"Just grind it out for 5 more years and then you can relax. Then you can explore your interests. Then you'll find your purpose."
It's the idea that your inner life is a reward you get for all your hard work, not a prerequisite for doing good work in the first place. That's completely backwards. Thinkers like Sahil Bloom argue that mental wealth is the enabler of sustainable success, not the prize at the end. Without a core sense of purpose and clarity, our financial decisions become reactive and short-sighted. We chase promotions that we don't even want, take jobs that drain our souls, and pile up money without a clear why behind it. The result isn't freedom, it's burnout. It's waking up at 45 with a healthy bank account, but a starved spirit, asking,
"Wyatt, is this it?"
This is a classic trap in positive psychology known as the arrival fallacy, the mistaken belief that reaching some destination will finally bring you lasting happiness. It's an idea Bloom often discusses. You think the next revenue target or the corner office will be the thing that finally makes you feel whole, but it's a moving target. The initial rush fades, and you're left with the same empty feeling, just in a more expensive house. Think back to being 10. Did you need a financial incentive to be curious? Did you demand a paycheck before you'd go explore the woods behind your house? Of course not. Your purpose was simple: play, learn, and connect. The joy was in the doing, not in the reward. That's a state of high mental wealth. The lie of later convinces you to trade that present moment richness for a future uncertain payoff. It's a terrible deal, and it's why so many outwardly successful people feel so hollow inside. The next lie is more subtle, but just as damaging. The belief that building mental wealth, things like reflection, solitude, and just being curious, is somehow self-indulgent, unproductive, or soft. In a culture that worships productivity, taking an hour to journal or go for a walk without a podcast blasting in your ear feels like a waste of time. We're taught that being smart means having all the answers, not wrestling with big, messy questions. This dismisses mental wealth as some fluffy, non-essential nice to have. But the truth is, cultivating your inner world is one of the highest leveraged things that you can possibly do. It's not about being soft, it's about becoming resilient. It's not about having a high IQ, it's about developing wisdom. When we talk about mental wealth, we can be inspired by thinkers like Bloom and look at 3 key pillars. One of the most critical is space. This means intentionally creating an environment for solitude and reflection. It's the antidote to the constant blur of modern life, the endless stream of notifications, meetings, and obligations that leaves you with zero room to think. Without this space, we lose the ability to choose our responses. We just react, driven by stress and whatever the world throws at us. Creating space isn't lazy, it's the smartest move you can make for your career. It's in those quiet moments that you can finally hear your own voice, separate from the noise of everyone else's expectations. It's where you connect the dots, process what's happening, and get clear on what really matters. And that idea that curiosity is just for kids, that's a myth that holds us back. Research shows that adults who stay curious have sharper analytical abilities and stronger problem-solving skills. When you engage in playful, curiosity-driven learning, it can trigger a dopamine release in your brain, which helps lock in information far better than stress cramming ever could. I know, talking about brain chemicals sounds like a science lecture, but here's why this actually changes how you'll feel on Monday morning. Play isn't frivolous. It's a fundamental part of how our brains are designed to learn and grow. So this notion that it's all soft stuff is a profound misunderstanding. Mental wealth is the firm foundation that everything else is built on. Without it, your financial success is fragile, your relationships are shallow, and your time is just filled with busyness instead of meaning. If we treat mental wealth like a real investment, we need to know exactly what's in the portfolio. It's not just a feeling. It's built on 3 specific pillars that most of us are completely ignoring. The first pillar is purpose. This is probably the most misunderstood concept of all. We've been sold a lie that your purpose is a single magical thing you have to find, like a hidden treasure. This creates this insane pressure, making people feel like they're failing if they haven't discovered their one true calling. But here's the secret. Purpose isn't a fixed destination. It's a compass that guides you. It's a personal vision that evolves as you grow. And it's often found not by looking inward in isolation, but by looking outward. You find it in service to others, your family, your community, a cause bigger than yourself. A better question than, what is my passion? Is, what does my world need from me? That question shifts the focus from selfish fulfillment to meaningful contribution. And that's where a real sense of purpose takes root. The second pillar is growth. This is the relentless desire to evolve, adapt, and learn. It's the engine of mental wealth. We all start out as curious little learning machines, but as we get older, we're pushed to play it safe and stick with what we know. We stop asking why, because we're afraid of looking dumb. We stop trying new things because we're afraid to fail. That natural growth mindset gets replaced by a performance mindset, where the goal is just to prove what you already know instead of exploring what you don't. Rebuilding this pillar means intentionally reigniting that flame. It's about learning for the sake of learning, not just for a promotion. It's about embracing the awkwardness of being a beginner again. This drive to grow is what keeps you adaptable and engaged with the world. And without it, you just stagnate. The final pillar is space. Like we touched on, this is about carving out intentional time for solitude, reflection, and deep thinking. In our hyper-connected world, this is the pillar that has been most completely destroyed. We're almost never alone with our own thoughts without a screen in front of our face. This doesn't have to mean a week-long meditation retreat. It's about simple, practical habits. Taking a walk with no phone. Spending 10 minutes journaling before bed. Driving in silence. This space is where you untangle the knots of your day, process your emotions, and actually listen to the faint signal of your own intuition. Without space, you can have a purpose and a desire to grow, but you'll be too distracted to hear the directions your inner compass is giving you. Purpose, growth, and space. That's the portfolio. If you neglect any one of them, your whole sense of well-being becomes unstable. If this idea of rebuilding your inner world is hitting home and you want to learn more about actionable strategies for a truly wealthy life, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We unpack concepts like this every single week. And I have a question for you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is one thing your 10-year-old self would love that you could do this week? Let's fill the comments with some much needed joy and play. Let's go back to that 10-year-old kid for a second. The reason they were so rich in joy and wonder had nothing to do with money. It was because their portfolio of mental wealth was overflowing. Their purpose was clear. Explore and have fun. Their growth was exponential, and they had all the space in the world for their imagination to run wild. We've been taught to trade that authentic wealth for a cheaper, more brittle version. We've optimized our lives for external validation and silenced the curious, joyful part of ourselves that actually knows how to live. Reconnecting with that inner child isn't about being childish. It's about reclaiming the essential human qualities of curiosity, wonder, and play that lead to a truly fulfilling life. The journey back starts today. It starts by rejecting the lies. The lie that you'll get to it later. The lie that this work is soft or unproductive. It starts by making one small investment in your mental portfolio. Learn something new just because it sounds fun. Carve out 10 minutes of quiet. Ask yourself what the people you love need from you today. Because true wealth isn't measured by the number in your bank account. It's measured by the richness of your inner life. Money might help you build a wealthy life, but your mental wealth is what makes that life worth living. My name is Stephen Cofer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.